Well, welcome back. Joining us in the studio this week, we're delighted to have Mr. Bruce Morganstern, who is the Vice President and Membership Chair for CERT. Bruce, welcome to the show.
Thanks very much.
How are you doing today?
Just great, thank you.
Good. So CERT, let's start off with that. What's CERT stand for?
Okay, CERT is the Community Emergency Response Team.
All right.
And we're a volunteer organization that teaches emergency preparedness and response to community members.
Very good.
We have a basic CERT class that is a 20-hour class that teaches emergency preparedness. It teaches basic first aid, light search and rescue, small fire suppression. We also teach about how to be organized during a disaster, a little bit about psychology of a disaster, and we even touch on terrorism.
Well, unfortunately, it's a very timely topic to have you here right now because of Harvey and Irma. So I can imagine that there's been a lot of buzz and interest about CERT classes, but you're already full for this fall semester, right?
Absolutely, it's great. I mean, I'm sorry to say that we're full because
Right.
I'd like to encourage others to take this class. But we will have another one in the spring.
Very good.
But we are full now, and we're looking forward to a very successful class.
And how many CERT volunteers do you have?
We have 80 members at the present time.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was that large. And your classes, your courses, you're teaching over where? At Millersville?
We teach at the Fire Training Academy in Millersville.
Okay.
We're very fortunate. The fire department is a great partner with us, and we really appreciate using their facilities.
It's a nice facility too.
It is.
And you work with high school students there?
Absolutely. In addition, the courses we were mentioning are for adults, but last year we taught a class at Glen Burnie High School, which was very successful. And this year we're not only going to repeat it at Glen Burnie, but we're also going to be teaching at Meade High School in the spring.
Awesome. I imagine that the kids are very interested in this subject, especially as we mentioned before, because of what we've been experiencing in our nation currently with Texas and Florida and the Gulf. What kinds of things, how do you get the kids how do you talk on their level, get them into emergency response? What are you doing
Well, actually, the schools that we picked, we picked them on purpose.
Okay.
The signature program at Glen Burnie High School is public service, and the signature program at Meade High School is Homeland Security. And both of them have an emergency management and response component to their classes.
Okay, we didn't have
So-
that when I was in high school.
No, me either.
No.
Well, that's
All we have
that's
is home
what's-
economics.
Yeah, I was going to say the same.
That's what's incredible about the signature programs in each of the high schools in the county, is
Yeah.
they have these theme topics that are of tremendous interest and of practical value to students.
Excellent.
Well, whenever a major disaster occurs, people always want to help. And sometimes that can be constructive and sometimes that can be not the right idea. What kind of advice do you give people? Let's say they want to help out with the response to Harvey or Irma. What should they do? Should they get in their car and drive down there, or
The response is please don't.
Right.
The best thing that somebody can do right now is donate money. And obviously donate to a reputable organization like the American Red Cross, and of course there's many out there that are doing wonderful things in terms of disaster response and relief. And there's a lot of good intentioned people right now that are collecting items to be delivered down there. The recommendation from National VOAD, which is Volunteer Organizations Active in Disasters, is have a yard sale. Sell them, take the money, and donate it. And the reason is that logistically, they can't handle items that are sent down there. They're in the middle of an emergency response. And also, what they can do with the money is that they can buy goods and materials down there in Texas to the local economy, which helps promote jobs and helps promote recovery.
So let's say Irma were to take a right turn and come up to Anne Arundel County and we had significant damage around the area. What do you do with your 80 volunteers at that point? What do you tell them to do? How do you mobilize them? What do they do?
Well, this is something that's really important. We operate under the auspices of the Anne Arundel County Office of Emergency Management.
Oh, so you come to the Emergency Operations Center.
What we do is we don't activate unless they determine that it's a large-scale enough emergency that they need our help.
I see.
And if that's the case, then we'll be deployed to an area that needs us and provide services. The challenge with a large-scale disaster is that we only have about 800 police officers and about an equivalent number of firefighters. That sounds like a lot until you realize that there's 500,000 citizens in Anne Arundel County, and of course just look at the size of the county itself. So CERT teams would get deployed to areas where perhaps first responders couldn't immediately get there for whatever reasons.
Bruce, how long have you been with CERT?
I've actually been there for about 2 years, but
Okay.
it's an exciting organization to be a part of, and I'm retired, so I have time to learn and continue training and.
You're not old
perhaps-
enough to be retired.
Yes, I seriously am. Thank you.
And how long has CERT been around?
Well, CERT, first of all, CERT is a national organization. CERT was formed in the 1980s. What happened was that there was a very large earthquake in Mexico. It required thousands of people to help support it, and unfortunately many of them died volunteering to support. And a lot of people looked at that and said, you know, volunteers are great, but what we really need are trained volunteers.
Yeah, the training.
So CERT actually began in Southern California. They looked at what happened in Mexico and other places of the world. They formed CERT. Other communities saw that it was a good idea. And sometime in the 90s, FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, took over, standardized all the training, and there are now CERT organizations in most counties in the United States.
So the Anne Arundel County chapter is fairly new.
We've been around, I believe, about 12, 13 years.
And have we ever been activated before? Do you?
We actually have not been activated. That's a good thing. That means that, that there hasn't been a disaster of the scale of a Katrina or a Harvey, and we hope it's not going to be an Irma. But you know, there's many things that we do in the meantime. First of all, we continue to train, because
Right.
there's so much that we can learn, and of course you need reinforcement on the training that you already have. But when we're not training or we're not teaching, we also help out the community. So we're parade marshals for the city of Annapolis. We do traffic management at large events like the Emergency Preparedness Expo that's coming up at Marley Station on September 23rd.
Great event.
Shout out.
Everyone should go to.
Yes, we'll be there.
We're also going to be at the drive-through flu clinic in Annapolis on September 30th, again as traffic management.
Is that the Navy
So,
Stadium again?
Yep.
At the Naval Academy
Okay.
Stadium.
You were out last week. We covered it last week.
Oh, yeah.
I was out too.
Yeah. No, it's a tremendous event, and while it's wonderful that they're giving out free I can say that, free flu vaccines, what you're really seeing is an exercise for a pandemic.
Right.
So this is exercising the Department of Health and local first responders to what would happen if we needed to respond to a pandemic. And that's another thing that CERT does, is CERT also helps in the planning and execution of exercises, mostly by providing volunteers, but also sometimes having a role in the actual exercise.
Well, so if I want to find out more, how do I do it?
Best way is go to our website. It's AAACERT.org. That's AAACERT.org, or you can go to our Facebook page.
Very good.
And we'd be happy to talk to you. Just hit the Contact Us button, and you'll get a personal response right from me.
Great.
Excellent. Well, thank you for all you're doing for the county. Thanks for coming out on the show today.
Absolutely.
Folks out
My
there,
pleasure.
if your ears are perked, if you want to learn more about what CERT's all about, and if you're interested in an upcoming class, make sure you visit the website or go on the Facebook page. We'll be right back with more Week in Review right after this. Don't go anywhere.